But, but before we get into all of that, we'd like to talk about the box office.
Yep. By the way, just a quick heads up. I am house sitting this week, and I might be sitting in an easy chair, and you may occasionally see the camera shift. So hopefully people don't get too seasick.
Yeah. No,
But
no worries.
because we had D Rhino on last week, we gave his time over to talk about his book, or we gave the usual box office time over to talk about his book. So we missed out on the Fall Guy bombing pretty badly.
Yeah. Yeah, a movie based on a very obscure 80s television series not doing well. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, and it's also I mean, it's so obscure that I didn't even know it was a thing. I just thought it
Yeah.
was an original property.
Yeah, I think it was only on for like a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like the A Team or like Greatest American Hero or anything like that. It was just it came and went. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even think of any jokes I've seen on things that celebrate the 80s, like Family Guy or Robot Chicken or whatnot. I,
Yeah.
I just had no idea.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's right. We don't have the full weekend chart yet, but we can make some extrapolations from Friday.
Yes. Yeah, so we had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes dropping and doing okay.
Yeah, the numbers estimate it's going to hit a $50 million opening weekend. 22 million opening day, which counts Thursday night previews, is that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Nice per theater average, which for anybody who works at an AMC or whatnot, I'm sure they're appreciative.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it's the fourth movie in this rebooted Planet of the Apes franchise, which we were talking before the show that we never really gotten into Planet of the Apes. It was just kind of, I mean, I watched like the first one, and then maybe a couple of the sequels. I just didn't really see the appeal of them.
I liked the classic ones, but so they used to do a really good job of really selling you on movies back in the day. And by that I mean, I was over at my grandparents one time, and I was watching Turner Classic Movies,
Mm.
and they had gotten the rights to, for the first time, show the classic Planet of the Apes movies. Now,
Mm.
objectively, after the first one, every movie they had less and less budget,
Yeah.
and they weren't especially great movies after the first one. Like
Yeah.
when people talk about how back in the days sequels were expected to do worse and worse, that there's a prime example of a mainstream franchise that just had diminishing returns all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, it got so bad that like with the second one, I think Charlton Heston's only in like one scene.
Yeah, I think he didn't. I think he died early on or something.
Yeah,
Uh, but they had the actor who was one of the top apes. I think it was McDowell,
yeah, Roddy McDowell.
Rodney
Yeah,
McDowell. See, I wanted to say Rodney, but I was doubting myself. I need to have more faith in myself. But they had him out there, and they filmed him on a beach that looked like the classic end of the movie, talking about the series and kind of selling it up. And they had little mini documentaries in between the movies. So, like
uh,
over the course of a few weeks, I ended up watching all of them. And again, like they did a great job of selling me on these being not quite important works. Actually, no, they did try to sell me on them being important works of cinema, and they kind of succeeded on my 13-year-old self.
yeah. Ninja says that everyone died in the second one, prompting time travel. Ah, okay.
Oh, right, that's right. At the very end, like one of the apes hits the nuke, or like they had this cult of the bomb, as I recall,
Uh,
and one of the apes, or no,
it
I
was
think it was
Heston, I thought.
yeah. Well, Feston was barely in the second one. So some human decided to blow up the Earth rather than let it be ruled by these crazy apes.
Yeah,
And then the third movie took was like the kind of the fall of humanity and the rise of the apes.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. yeah, I can't remember. And then the offspring of the one of the apes, I think also played by Roddy McDowell, becomes like the big leader. And
Oh, right,
yeah,
because he ended up coming back in time somehow
right, yeah,
in a human society where they already had armies of ape servants,
right,
which
yeah,
which is an interesting choice.
yeah, it, yeah. It was, and yeah, it was a very bizarre series. And of course, then you had the Tim Burton remake, which was god
Nobody really
awful.
talks about.
Yeah, because it had probably the worst ending of any movie think I've ever seen.
Oh, what? How did it end?
So Mark Wahlberg goes back in time, or at least he thinks he goes back in time, and he ends up he crashes his ship in Washington D.C. and the whole planet's been turned are all apes, and
Oh,
like
right.
the Washington
Oh
Monument's
God.
the bad guy. And yeah,
All right. The Abe Lincoln ape.
yeah, and then he gets arrested. It's like what?
Uh,
It's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'll just have him get arrested.
yeah. So I guess I will say that this movie, at least these movies, from what I understand, have merit to them.
Hmm.
Probably more merit than the concept has ever gotten.
Yeah,
And I watched the film threat review of this one, and it sounded all right.
yeah,
Yeah. But, $50 million opening, that can't be what they're hoping for with a budget close to what they put into Dune.
mm, yeah. Yeah, and that's of course that's assuming that they're actually telling the truth about how much money they spent on
That's true. I mean, I think we've discovered recently, thanks to the various filings, that even the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie was heavily over budget and technically wasn't profitable in theaters.
it. Right. Yeah. Mm. But yeah, yeah. So we had Apes, Fall Guy, and then we had Challengers, which is that's the Zendaya movie. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that was one I kept seeing trailers for in front of every movie I was watching for a bit, and every time it just seemed like miserable and unpleasant. And that's the general feeling I got from reviews I watched of it, where it's just it is weird. Like it's sold on being kind of sexy, and like the trailer seems to imply that there's going to be a menage a trois scene, and this does not happen.
Oh, of course.
And apparently it sounds like another case where it's actually there's more chemistry between the two guys than either of them have with Zendaya, which is interesting.
Ugh. Oh
That
man.
might be intentional.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think Matt Reeves directed this new one. I think it was somebody else. Um, but yeah, it sort of reminded me of there's a horror movie I saw, old '80s horror movie called Witchboard, or was Witch, yeah, Witchboard, where that was kind of the case, where like the two male leads had more chemistry than either one of them had with the woman.
Oops.
Yeah,
It was Wes Ball directing.
never heard of them.
Nope. Yeah, from the sounds of it, this is kind of a soft reboot where you don't necessarily need to watch the first three movies to get this one.
Okay.
I also heard good things about the special effects provided by Weta,
Oh, okay.
which is
Yeah, that's
interesting.
for those of you who don't know, that's Peter Jackson's company, or at least it was his company. I don't know if he still
Yeah.
owns it or not.
Rounding out the top five, we have Tarot. It sounded like a really bad Sony horror movie,
Mm,
and then, and this is troublesome. Godzilla X Kong still in the top five after 43 days in release
yeah,
and making $600,000 on the day.
yeah. It just not hadn't quite passed the 200 million mark domestically.
Which, not gonna lie, that's not any amount of box office to sneeze at.
No, it's not. I mean, well, yeah, half a billion total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although with that's right. This one, okay. We live in a strange world where it cost less money to make Godzilla and King Kong fight each other at the center of the earth than it did to make a Ryan Gosling film about him as a stunt guy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. The Fall Guy was $10 million less expensive.
Yeah. Okay,
It should not be in the same conversation.
yeah, yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, rest of the top 10, they're still putting in the numbers for yesterday, so we don't have the full top 10 here.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Episode One: Phantom Menace, it seems to have petered out, which is not
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody who wanted to see that movie again in the theater went and saw it. I didn't. I don't really feel like going back to see that movie again in the theater.
Uh, Also, weirdly, Kung Fu Panda 4 and Godzilla X Kong have almost the exact same amount of money, though. Kung Fu Panda was out for longer.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, by the way, is now on. It's now available for digital rent and buy.
yeah, but it's still plugging away, making a little bit of money here and there in
Yeah.
theaters because what else is there to show in theaters?
True. Yeah.
Because I happened to go to walk by McDonald's today, and I confirmed something I had heard online, which is that they have the new Captain America movie toys at McDonald's right now when the movie was supposed to originally release.
Oh god.
When they were supposed to, when they're completely reshooting the darn thing.
Yeah.
And so the toys kind of give you an idea of what's in there. Do you know who the character Ruth is? Is that an established character? Is that somebody from Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Did she kind of have like red hair, reddish hair, and
Well, the toy looked like she was a brunette.
uh, maybe let me double check. Uh,
Because from the looks of it, they had a toy for Falcon Cap. They had one for Diamondback. They had one for Red Hulk. So Harrison Ford's going to get to be Red Hulk, I guess.
then he'll find
Uh,
out what a red Hulk is.
Probably won't.
No, probably
Let's
won't.
be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll probably just memorize his lines and just where's my money?
Let's see. I don't know who Ruth is. No, there wasn't a Ruth in Falcon
Okay.
and Winter Soldier.
The fact that she doesn't have a recognizable superhero name and looked like she was wearing kind of a generic shieldy outfit makes me think that she might just be an agent love interest, like a Agent Carter for Falcon.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure they had some sort of contract. McDonald's had whatever their contract was, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, we got to put these toys out now.
It's like, screw you. We're not going to hold on to these for months.
Yeah, yeah,
Store them and have to come up with a new toy at the last minute.
yeah.
It's kind of like when Wonder Woman 84 had a promotional blizzard with Dairy Queen. It's like, yeah, we don't care that you delayed it to December.
Yeah,
The cups are ready now.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. Oh boy. What a yeah. The total mess up. Messy thing going on with Disney's just messing everything up. Yeah.
Disney's messing everything up. They got kneecapped by bad choices with the Writers Guild.
Mhm.
Just unpleasantness all around.
Indeed. Yeah.